name is Sarah Flynn, and I've been a certified court reporter with the state of Arkansas since 1994. I'm also a certified verbatim reporter master, a real-time verbatim reporter, and a certified legal transcriptionist with the National Verbatim Reporters Association, who is the nationwide licensing authority for voice writers, whether it be court reporters, CART providers, or broadcast captioners. I'm also the owner and lead instructor at International Real-Time Court Reporting Institute, where we have been training voice writers since 2005. And please let me introduce to you one of our real-time certified graduates, Kim Ray, who is a certified verbatim reporter and a real-time verbatim reporter. She works in the state of North Carolina. Kim will be doing a real-time voice writing presentation for you as I'm speaking in just a little bit. So I have two goals for today's presentation. The first is to get you excited about the best career you've never heard of, court reporting. The second is to get you excited about the court reporting method that I use, which is real-time voice writing. I'm very passionate about both, so I hope I can stir up the same excitement in all of you today. So first, let's talk about what court reporters do. We are the ever important keepers of the record of court and deposition proceedings. Now, there are two types of court reporters, and those are officials and freelancers. Official court reporters work in the courtroom. They have a salaried position with the state or federal government. It includes great benefits such as health insurance and retirement. Now, some official jobs here in your area are offering huge sign-up bonuses as much as $30,000 in addition to the already $100,000 plus salary. In fact, it's the most lucrative career that I can think of that you can have without a traditional college degree. Official court reporters hear and report motions and trials, either criminal or civil cases, such as car accidents, medical malpractice, and so much more that you can't even think of. Now, the other type of reporter is a freelance reporter. This is what I do. And this reporter will work for one or more court reporting agencies, and you go out to different places and you report depositions. I'm sure you've all heard the saying that there are no surprises at trial. That's because when a lawsuit is filed, each party has the right to discover what the other party is going to say at the trial of the matter. And this is where they take depositions, which are question and answer sessions where the person, the deponent, is placed under oath to see what they're going to say. So deposition testimony can also be used in court to rebut testimony. If they say something different at trial than they said at their deposition, it's used to rebut that testimony. So depositions are very important as well. So both types of court reporters are going to hear things that are different every single day. Both types will take their notes, and then we prepare written transcripts of those proceedings so the attorneys and judges can review them later, and court reporters are charged with accurately producing the record from our notes. So court reporting does take some training. Now, I get the question all the time, why can't you just record it and have AI make a transcript and eliminate the court reporter? Well, I'll tell you why. When papers are ruffled, there's interfering noise, people are talking over each other, the digital record is then distorted. Machines cannot differentiate between different dialects. They cannot interrupt when something is not heard or understood. They cannot play back questions, and they cannot punctuate the spoken word properly, as court reporters are trained to do. So court reporters are a vital part of the legal process. We're not going anywhere. I think we have the best job where we're kind of the fly on the wall, listening and reporting everything that's said. And that's why I've been doing this for almost 30 years now. There's always something new that you're going to hear. And even after 30 years, I'm still shocked at some of the interesting stories that I hear. You may have even watched the recent Murdaugh trial where they had both a voice writer and a machine writer both reporting the trial proceedings. I bet that was a very interesting trial to get to report. So now that you know what court reporters do, let's learn a little history about the voice writing method itself. Where did it come from? In the 1960s, a man named Horace Webb invented the first stenomask. It was a really big one. And he also invented the voice writing method of court reporting. So he just happened to come into contact with a naval officer who had just been tasked with finding an alternate method of court reporting. It just happened at the same time. So the Navy liked his method. They adopted the method in the mid-1960s and started teaching it in lieu of traditional machine writing and the older shorthand pen writing method. So the voice writing method itself has been around pretty long time now. So the way I got started with voice writing back in the early 90s was that English happened to be my best subject. I love to read. And in high school and college, I worked as a legal secretary for several local high-profile law firms, and the legal profession really excited me. I had higher aspirations of being just a secretary, but I knew I didn't want to put in all the time and money into the schooling it would take to become an attorney. So in my office at the law firm, court reporters would come in and take depositions, and I noticed that some of them were using this mask thing. I didn't really know what it was, and others were using a machine. So a legal secretary friend of mine who was training herself to become a voice writer, because back then we didn't have any voice writing training programs to speak of, and she's the one that handed me an old-timey mask, the real big one, and a tape recorded course by Mr. Horace Webb, and told me that she thought I would be good at this. Well, so I trained myself with the help of that course. I went out and took and passed my test the first time, and the rest is history. And that was almost 30 years ago. I'm aging myself. So now I'm going to ask Kim to share her screen for you. And she's going to start voice writing as I continue speaking. You're going to see her real-time text come up on the screen as she is dictating into her silencer mask, which I will talk more about here in a moment. So do we have Kim's screen? There we go. Now let's talk about the history of real-time voice writing. In 1997, the first voice-to-text software, Dragon Dictate, came out, and computer processor speeds were beginning to get faster and faster. Real-time voice writing then became a reality, and it's only gotten better and better. In 2005, Betty Keys, another real-time voice writer, invented and developed the voice writing theory that most of us use today. With the use of that theory, which I'll give you some examples of in just a moment, coupled with ever-increasing computer processor speeds and advances with the Dragon software, today's voice writer can produce instant voice-to-text using the assistance of a CAT system, which formats that text into a transcript. Some real-time writers produce a feed to attorneys and judges, but most real-time writers just do real-time writing for themselves, eliminating the need for a typist. After the proceeding is finished, then we simply proofread and perfect our transcript before producing it to a judge or an attorney. So where voice writers were limited in the past due to technology, today's properly trained voice writers can produce real-time text, such as Kim is doing here today, provide readbacks to attorneys and judges, interrupt for clarification, and report all different kinds of dialects. Again, things no recording device will ever be able to do in our lifetime. Voice writers provide the exact same services as machine writers, and get paid the exact same salary and page rate. We even take the same certification exam. However, machine writing schools have a 92% average dropout rate among their students. This means only 8 of 100 people will make it all the way to certification. With machine writing, students are required to learn a completely different language before starting speed building. In voice writing, we use the English language that we already know, and we can start speed building right away. This is how we can train voice writers in 1 year or less, whereas machine writing students average 3 to 4 years to get to test level. All right, so Kim can stop sharing her screen now that we've seen the real-time text coming out, and then we can continue on. So now that you've seen real-time voice writing in action, let's talk about the equipment that we use in our training program. First off, we use a silencer mask such as this one, and we will teach you the art of real-time voice writing. It's definitely an art form of dictating correctly, because Dragon, our speech recognition engine, it's just a computer program. It doesn't know what we're trying to say. It's listening for sounds, and it's going to make a best guess match as to what that sound is compared to the 350,000 words that it comes with in its base vocabulary. So then we add in our theory words to that vocabulary to get our desired output. We'll couple Dragon with Eclipse Box or another computer-aided transcription program, or that's what's called a CAT program. We use Eclipse Box, and a CAT program is going to enable us to format our transcripts correctly, and it builds them in real time as we're dictating. So both machine writers and voice writers will use a CAT system, but a voice writer only needs a souped-up laptop computer, which runs around $1,200 to $1,400 in lieu of a $5,000 steno machine. So our costs of equipment are a little bit less than those of a machine writer.